Hey everybody, this is Henry here with another custom showcase, and today I will be showcasing my Jinty Pug that I made. And the reason why I chose to do Jinty Pug for my next customs is because after the scrap engines I made, I wanted to try some more customs, and I wanted to do something that would take more effort than just scrap engines where you just paint it all like brown and just take off the face. But at the same time, I didn't want to like do anything that was like over the top. Just a slight step up than what I did last time. And I was trying to think of something, but then I was looking at Fat Controller's engines, and I was like, oh yeah, Jinty Pug are there. And I realized like they're not like too like detailed, but at the same time, it would be a fun thing to do. So, and I did it, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Like they're not like there are other people that have done way better Jinty Pug customs, but I'm pretty happy with how mine turned out. So, I'll show you the Thomas. Well, it's a Thomas model, but it's Jinty. Excuse me. This is Jinty. I used a '96 Thomas that I had already had. I wasn't using it for anything, and there was a good amount of paint that was chipped off on it. So I decided, you know what? I'll just use this. If I wanted to be super accurate, I would have used something like a Stepney or an Oliver, but I had this at my disposal already, so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna use this. So I did plan on keeping the Thomas face on there, but I was trying to paint around the face because I didn't feel like taking the face off, and but I accidentally got paint on like at the bottom of the face when I was painting it, so I really didn't have any other choice but to take it off. And if you, in case you haven't seen my custom showcase on my scrap engines, I said that the faces were pretty easy to take off. Yeah, not so much with these. It took a good like 10 minutes each to get the faces off. The Thomas face was just completely destroyed afterwards. I was talking with Clark because it's a wooden smokestack, and it's different than from a plastic smokestack. And I was asking him like he was giving me advice on how to take it off, and he suggested like I use a fruit cutter to take it off, but I didn't have one at the time, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna use like a normal knife. And excuse me, it's not focusing very well. I apologize for that. But anyway, I decided to just use the knife that I had on me, and I just completely destroyed the face. So I had no choice but to have a different face, and I used an Edward face that I had. Like I used the Edward face that I took off of the Edward model for my scrap engines. Yeah, it's kind of banged up, but for the most part, I think it looks pretty good. Like, yeah, there's some stuff at the top, but I think it looks fine. And then this is supposed to be a pretty simplistic British Railways logo, because Jinty has the British Railway logos on his sides. And if I wanted to be like super cool, I'd try and like print the decals on, but I didn't really feel like doing it, and I didn't really have a way to do it. So like there's the circle, and then like the label where it's supposed to say British Railways, and then I just painted a little yellow thing on top, which is supposed to be the lion. And then I did the same on here. This side isn't as good. I tried it like 3 or 4 times, and this was after this that I couldn't be bothered to do it another, so I just decided to leave it at that. And then I used gray for the cab doors and because the engines were black, so I just decided to use gray for it, so then they'd actually show. And as you can see, like, yeah, I could have done a way better job, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And then on this Thomas, I painted the wheels black. I don't know if you can see it, but there is some places where I could probably paint over again. Douglas Van Dan suggested that I gloss over the wheels after I paint them, so then the paint doesn't come off as much as it would. And I might do that in the future, but for now I'm just gonna leave it at that. So anyway, let's get on to Pug. I used a 1992 bill for this, and yes, I know it's before you kill me for using a 92 item. I posted a picture of this on Twitter when I first got it, and there's almost no paint on it whatsoever, and that's why I chose it to make a custom on. And so I basically just sanded these two engines down before I painted them with just normal sandpaper, and then I started painting over them. That's something that I didn't do with my scrap engines, because I didn't think to do it, and it didn't really matter because they're supposed to be scrap engines. They're supposed to look kind of bad. I just didn't at that time. But I decided to do it on these because otherwise the paint job would be like look all weird and stuff. So I sanded them down. Pug wasn't as bad, like wasn't as hard to do detail-wise, because there really isn't much. He doesn't have any logos on him or anything. I just painted them all black and put the cab doors on him, or cab windows or whatever. To get the paint on this front, I was asking Domeless Engine, what should I do to like get the paint all the way around? Because I was making this after I made the Jinty, and I didn't want to get paint on the face. So he just told me your best bet is to just take off the face and then paint over it and then just put it back on. I really wasn't feeling it because I thought I was going to mess up the face and I didn't really have another face to use, but it ended up turning out pretty well. There's actually a funny story about this. I was taking it off and I was sawing it off with like a small knife, but then this boiler thing, like this part, actually came entirely off the model, and I was like, oh, that's not good. But I ended up sliding it back on and started painting through it again, and I think it'll stick. I was thinking about gluing it on, but then I thought, nah, the paint will keep it there. And then I just put it back on, and then after the paint dried on the front, I just glued the face back on. And the cool thing about this is, because since it was a bill, I didn't have to paint the wheels. They were already black, so that was nice. And that's really all there is to say. So like I said before, I'm pretty happy with how these customs turned out. Yeah, that's about it. So that's all there is to say for this custom showcase. Please like and subscribe for more stuff like this and other Thomas Wooden Railway related stuff. And as always, thank you for watching.